Yeah, hello. I'm Mark Mathabane. I attended Limestone back in the fall of 1978, and I'm now back 37 years later. Yeah, there's several that are really ingrained, etched, on my heart and are very dear. Because I was 18 years old when I first came to the United States from South Africa. Leaving my family behind, not knowing if I'll ever see them again. And I remember the trepidation I felt because family had meant so much to me when I was growing up. It was actually the backbone, that enabled me to survive. But lo and behold, I arrive at this small southern town called Gaffney. And I am immediately embraced by so much love, and so much hope that I felt not a stranger in a foreign land, but like a son coming home to be given a gift that he would then go on to share with the rest of the world. And what was that gift? I felt, with all my heart, when I met members of the Limestone community and also members of the Bethel Baptist Church in town, they were like members of an extended family, and they, just reminded me that even though you come from Africa, even though you went through these horrible conditions that we cannot even fathom, we just feel that the love that your mother gave you as her greatest gift. She couldn't give you enough food, she couldn't buy you toys, she couldn't, buy you clothes, but she always, unconditionally loved you. That will try to replicate that, both at the school and in our community. And even though my stay, was short, that gift from Limestone and Gaffney and its community was priceless and timeless, because it gave me a glimpse into the possibilities of living in America and challenged me to make the best of this incredible opportunity, but also gave me the courage to remember wherever I went that it's all about the human heart, that if we find it in ourselves, to recognize that the most important color that matters is the color of your heart, not of your skin. That we would have the key to so much possibility about the future. Because regardless of where people were in Gaffney, whether they were on this side of the highway or the high railroad or in Limestone or outside, they always embraced me as a human being. And I've never forgotten that. And this is what has inspired me as a writer, and this is a message that I share with young people that I come in contact with every day. I say, you have a responsibility to make the right choices in your life. You live in a country which, though not perfect, is by far the best in giving you the opportunity to make those choices. And they must begin with your freeing your mind through education, so that it's not afraid to live life fully and also to live globally. And secondly, you owe it to yourself to choose the right friends, because they can end up influencing your choices in life. And then lastly, you owe it to yourself to just remember the sacrifices that were made for you to enjoy the freedoms that you cannot imagine life without, because those were paid for dearly. And once you are aware of that, there's absolutely no limit to what you can do by virtue of having been born in America. Because this is an opportunity that most young people, in the world only dream of, is to grow up in a country where if they do their best, if they have the courage to be different, and if also they have those big dreams that many sometimes give up simply because nobody believes in them. But if you are of that disposition in America, you will find somebody somewhere to not only inspire you, but to encourage you and to support you in their pursuit. And for me, it all began at Limestone. Without those friendships and those kinds of inspirations, the professors, I still remember Professor Bassett, I still remember, the pastor at Bethel Baptist Church, I still remember the friendship with Kevin, and I still remember the late Dr. Ronald Killian, and, the things that all of them did differently, that went to tell me emphatically that, Mark, even though you are leaving us now, we hope that wherever you go, you will remember that there's a reason why you were the chosen one from your land to make this journey. And I'm back now to say yes, part of the journey has been made, and this is what I was able to learn and to do along the way, so let's share it and begin yet another, because it's all in concentric circles. It's like you throw that stone in the pond and it just keeps rippling. And my hope is that really, goodness and love and hope and peace, will ripple from, this common origin, to the farthest ends of our world, so that people will know that, one person can make such a huge difference. And that one person is obviously my mother, because she is the one mom who began everything by, first of all, giving me life, but also by protecting that life, when it was beset by all kinds of horrors, because it's very hard to raise a child in hell. But if you surround that child with love, not even the fiercest flames can burn his humanity. And I just feel that, we owe it to all our children who are in different kinds of hells of their, reality, to surround them with as much love as we can give. Yes. Yeah, I had played in a tennis tournament in 1977. And present was a former Wimbledon and US Open champion named Stan Smith, who lives actually on Hilton Head. And he and I and his wife Margie became friends. And the head of my dream of, wanting to come to America to study and to use tennis as the key. And so he contacted coaches at a tournament in Athens, Georgia. And unfortunately, all the coaches he knew had granted scholarships to prospective athletes the year before. And there were none left except for one. And this was the late Dr. Ronald Killian. And he happened to be, a philosophy professor and the tennis coach at Limestone. And he said that, I have this scholarship that I had earmarked for a student who didn't show up, and I'd be glad to give it to this young man from Africa, because he's written this very passionate letter to me, explaining just why he so desperately wants to escape from bondage to freedom and education in America. And so he gave it to me without even having seen me play, which is taking quite a chance. And I've never forgotten that, simply because, in athletics, it's very competitive. You don't just give away a full scholarship without having proof that, the athlete is worth it. But I think that, as Providence guides so much of our actions that are beyond logic, there was a reason why Dr. Killian had to give me that scholarship that went way beyond tennis. And I think it soon became apparent with how the rest of my life unfolded. But he had to make the decision, and obviously he had to use the resources of Limestone College to fund that scholarship. And that's why the bond I feel with, this, college is so special, because it truly, gave me that passport to freedom, to where, even though I never became a tennis champion, but I have endeavored, tried to use the pen, to still champion what, that victory that we all must have, which is how do we learn to create a better world and to live together as brothers and sisters. In fact, I'd like to talk to the current group of students who may be attending school here or contemplating college. I say, you live or are attending school in the best country in the world, at a time when the world is beset by daunting challenges, and America herself faces similarly daunting challenges, having to do with economic injustice, inequality, racial injustice, inequality, poverty that knows no color, and also, the loss of a moral compass to guide us in the right direction, but also, the need for us to empathize with those who are different, be they Muslim, Jewish, or any other group, simply because I feel that in the end, we must find a way to coexist on one planet. And what does that say about you, the student? It tells me that when you come to college, or when you have aspirations for higher education, let it involve both your own dreams and the fulfillment of your potential, but also let it be the gateway to serving humanity. Those two are not mutually exclusive. You can pursue your passion and still be a benefactor to humankind. So I just want you to think of those two things every time you are in the class, to say, how can I become a better person so I can, in the end, make a difference in the world. Thank you.